Hey everybody, welcome. Trying to get you all on one screen so I can see some friendly faces. I
I
saw a
can.
whole bunch of people on this call today at Rockville, which was super fun. Sorry, go ahead, Joey.
I was just gonna say, do you want me to stop share screen so that we can see everybody? Why don't I
I
do
think
that?
yeah, go for it, Joey. That'll be good.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah. Hey, Amy. Hi, Lori. Sarah. Hey, Beverly. Hey, Warren. How's Delaware?
It's raining.
That's a bummer. Hey, Dee Dee. All right. Welcome, everybody. Joey is our host this evening, so he is gonna let folks in through from the waiting room. I was actually just filling Joey in that Jacqueline and I started sleep training Clara 3 nights ago, and I just gave Joey about a 45-minute lecture on what sleep training is. 'Cause it's been a crash course.
Oh my gosh.
But if you see the weariness in my face, that's what it comes from. But we are really excited to have our second master course with Joey Clark tonight. Tonight's class, obviously July 24th, runs through 9 p.m. tonight. And because Joey has run this course before with us, this being the second session, he'll be taking questions in the chat, and we'll likely answer those, at least based on the first class, right during the session. So please do ask questions, and if he asks you to unmute, you have the opportunity to do that as well. The first session that we had was kind of an overview on the medical research that exists about why music is powerful and how music can be healing. This second session is a deep dive into the spiritual traditions of music. So drum circles, singing bowls, chanting, meditation, and a whole bunch more stuff that I'm sure Joey has ready and prepared for you. So I'm excited. I'll be honest, I watched the entirety of the last masterclass with Joey, and there were a couple moments, particularly the video, in which we saw the true impact of making music on the human body in real time. That was an emotional experience for me, and I hope it was for you too. So Joey, we're looking forward to it, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right, thanks. And so many of you, first of all, can you hear me okay? Great. So many of you sent me emails after that last class, even people who watched it virtually afterwards. And I really appreciated that. I got so many warm welcomes because if you haven't heard, I'm moving to Washington, D.C. Next month. And I thank you. Applause from almost everyone except Dee Dee, who lives in Minnesota. Um, but yes, I'm very excited to move there next month and do a ton of in-person work finally for Encore and for the Levine School as well. So I'm excited to see some of you in person finally. Okay, so today, this kind of got marketed as a spiritual deep dive. And so I want to take a little bit of time and just kind of define spirituality in a way so we can like know what we're talking about. I'm going to keep sharing screen in and out, of course, but we're going to get to that in 1 second. The first thing I want to define for you is the vagus nerve, because when we talk about all of these different sound techniques like that are used in spiritual forms, such as drums and singing bowls and didgeridoos and gongs, all of these things are vibrations that enter our body. And the vagus nerve is kind of a nerve that works off of vibrations in our body. It's the nerve that regulates the vibrations in so many different parts of our body. So I want to just make sure we all know what the vagus nerve is before we launch into spirituality. The word vagus means wandering in Latin, and it is a wandering nerve. It is the largest nerve system in our body. It runs from the brain all the way down to the colon. And it, as you can kind of see in that picture, it attaches itself to many things along the way. So it originates in the medulla oblongata part of your brain, and it helps to regulate our heartbeat, basically. And then it controls some things that we don't have like physical control over, like your respiratory system, your digestion system, your circulatory system. And it is also in charge of things like hearing and balance, taste buds, swallowing, coughing, vomiting, sneezing. So it does quite a lot of functions. Whoops, uh-oh, hold on. I gotta move your faces around my screen. Hold on. Okay, here we go. It travels through your larynx, so your voice box, your lungs, your heart, your liver, and then your abdomen. It activates your throat, your pharynx, your voice box, and then your soft palate. So it's like explicitly used when you sing and talk and swallow. It also senses through your ears. It controls your heart rate, your breathing rate, your sweating, and the movement of your digestive system. I mean, this nerve does it all, right? And it is part of your parasympathetic nervous system. And I'll just give you a really brief look back at biology class. You have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. Your parasympathetic nervous system is the one that regulates you and calms you down when you're freaked out about something. When you get freaked out, it's your sympathetic nervous system that freaks out with you and allows you to deal with the situation at hand by shutting down things that aren't important in that moment. So your sympathetic nervous system says, we don't need your bladder to work right now. We have to move this giant piece of furniture off of this child. All right. So we're going to take all of the other things that we don't need to work right now and put them at a rest. And then we're going to use your arm muscles a lot right now. That's your sympathetic nervous system. Your parasympathetic, your vagus nerve, calms you down and re-regulates you and gets your gut and your abdomen to not be in the butterfly mode. All right. So here is kind of a picture of all of the different branches and what it attaches to. So you have a bit of a visual. And I'm going to refer to vagus nerve quite a bit throughout this class because, once again, lots of things affect your vagus nerve and therefore affect all these other things. They're all kind of connected in a way. So you could see already that singing is really great because it's directly connected to your heart rate and your breathing. And of course, when you breathe and sing, your diaphragm is working, and that directly relates to your gut and your digestion. So it's kind of amazing how much singing specifically really affects you. But then other vibrations that you take in tactily through drums or bowls or whatever. Okay, so what defines a spiritual experience? I want you to just take a second and I'm going to unshare and I would love to hear your thoughts. What is a spiritual experience to you? What makes something spiritual? And feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself and just speak up.
Something unexpected.
Unexpected, okay.
Something that hits very deeply inside.
Can you expand on that a little bit?
Something that you recognize as important and maybe looking at things a slightly different way.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Debbie?
Maybe I'll go in the other room since I'm gonna work. I can't do this with.
Deb,
Do it.
wait. Debbie, I don't know if you're talking, but I can't hear you. You're not unmuted. Yeah. Transcendence, I see. When you smile at an infant and they give you a big smile in response, something that takes you out of yourself, gives you goosebumps.
I'd say it's something that connects you to a wider whole, to more of a universal sensation of
Okay.
connection.
Connection to a bigger thing. Uh-huh. Debbie, I say something again. Nope. I see you trying. It looks like you're unmuted, but no, I can't hear you. Anybody else want to chime in? Debbie, feel free to type it out if you want. Something you can't explain. Oh, good, you're getting help. I see that. We studied this a lot in paramedic school. Oh, interesting, Warren. Learning ways to stimulate the vagus nerve, which slows the heart rate, reduces blood pressure, treats migraines, and more. Oh, you're talking specifically about the vagus nerve. Uh-huh, great.
I think something that's spiritual is something that's enlightening when kind of the light bulb goes off and you've never really thought about that kind of thing before. And suddenly something really makes sense that didn't before.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've had that experience in voice lessons. I've had it in music therapy sessions. I've had it like learning an instrument when suddenly after you've been struggling, oh, that's a bar chord, kind of thing, and sometimes you can feel it viscerally, and sometimes it just sort of takes a few minutes to process and sink in.
Yes, great.
I wish
Thanks.
that worked with
That's
me
my
with
old friend
algebra.
Jan. Nice to see you, Jan. I didn't recognize you. Your hair is different. I love it. You look great.
We'll have coffee when you get here
Yeah, I'm excited.
or something.
Oh, and then I'm getting, okay, Holly writes, Marin Alsop conducting Beethoven's Ninth at the cathedral. I love that. That's an example of a spiritual moment. A connection to the divine, a moment that connects you in an instant to greater emotional positive awareness. Well, these are all great things. And obviously, spirituality is a personal thing. So, everyone's definition is totally right. I'm going to share with you some singing the Hallelujah chorus at the Kennedy Center with the organ playing. Yes, when the Kennedy Center organ is working. Yeah, it's great. I also did, of course, a search on the internet, because that's what you do, to see what other places have come up with. Several of these I got from the University of Minnesota, where they have a school of spirituality where I took some classes. Spirituality involves exploring universal themes like love, compassion, altruism, life after death, wisdom, and truth. A sense of connection, many people just said this, to something bigger than ourselves, a searching for meaning in life, a universal human experience that touches us all, people have said that too, a deep sense of aliveness and, again, interconnectedness. So I'm just looking at these now in the mindset of a musician or someone who appreciates music, right? You can kind of see pretty clearly how, like, for instance, singing in a chorus, right, can relate to so many of these things. Certainly, we try to, maybe in our repertoire choices, explore the theme of love, compassion, right? Altruism just kind of comes out within the communal experience of being in a choir together. Life after death, maybe. I mean, if you're in a church choir, maybe specifically. Let's see, what else? Connecting to something bigger than ourselves. That's certainly the group effort, right? Universal experience that touches us all on deeper levels, right? All of these things can be seen in a joint music making or a music appreciating experience. So we're already there with spirituality, but now we're going to talk very specifically about what some other cultures have done over the years, starting with drum circles. So I apologize in advance that there's going to be a lot of reading today, but I'll try to make it fun and exciting. So this is from, as you can see, a magazine periodical that did a lot of research on drum circles. Shift in brainwave activity are prompted by repetitive rhythmical patterns, which entrain your brain and results in synchronization of the hemispheres of your brain. And that results in a higher state of coherence and clarity. So if you're feeling like you have a foggy brain, do some drumming, stick to a beat is what they're saying. Repetitive patterns also prompt shifts in your state of consciousness. And we're talking for extended periods of time here. So being in a drum circle for, I would probably guess, 20, 30, 40 minutes, an hour, will affect your consciousness from a beta state to an alpha state to a theta state. When you go from beta to alpha, there is a sense of relaxation and in turn more flexibility in cognitive processing. That state is referred to as being in the zone. And I think we've all kind of experienced that with music, right? Being at a concert and feeling like you are in the zone. And if you've gotten to experience drum circles or be in a drum circle specifically, you really get that feeling after a while. It's almost like a chemical release. A theta state is accompanied by sensorial experiences and hypnotic, basically, effects, which not only include lucid thought, but also access to non-ordinary dimensions of consciousness and spiritual realms. When experienced within a safe environment and frame, these neurological shifts promote health and wellness. Rhythms are based on intervals of sound and silence, and based on that mathematical formula, drum rhythms are geometric patterns, basically, that resonate with our constitution, our brain, and our energy fields. And when you encode those with an emotional content or an intention, whether constructive or destructive, the vibrational frequencies become vehicles that propagate content across environment and space, meaning you can impart many different things through rhythms. And this intentionally encoded frequency transmits their regenerative capacity through vibroacoustic and tactile processes, meaning you're getting it through your ears and you're getting it through feeling vibrations through your body, especially if you're the one doing the drumming and you're getting it through your fingers, right? Because we are natural resonators, and drumming and voice generate harmonic frequencies through our organs, our tissues, our bones, and our fluids. They absorb all of these vibrations. We resonate with the music. And these resonating waves can stimulate inherent curative mechanisms within our body and influence the harmonic capacity of your spine, in balance, contributing to wellness and health. And these patterns and frequencies can stimulate, ta-da, your vagus nerve and hold the potential to entrain your pulse and systemic coherence, the synchronization of all of the functions happening in your cardiovascular system, your respiratory system, and even your digestive system as a result of the vagus nerve. Shifts in respiratory and cardiovascular activity result from the aerobic elements of drumming. So not only are you getting the vibrations, you're also having an aerobic activity. These actions increase oxygen in your blood, of course, which is really great for us. Any activity that increases your heart and your breathing is aerobic, and regular exercise, of course, you all know, helps with your blood pressure. It also increases your body temperature, which stimulates sweating and triggers hormonal fluctuations. So you have benefits from that, decreasing levels of cortisol and increasing your I'm not going to try DHEA, as we buy at the health food store. Drumming also induces relaxation and reduction of stress and anxiety. And then if you vocalize while you're drumming, that helps even more. This enhances relaxation, stimulates responses, deepens a state of consciousness, and elevates your spirit. And then finally, in traditional drum circles, like the native drum circle in America, symbols and geometric configurations and colors and elements all add to that spiritual sense that's happening. Symbols transmit an archetypal energy that can yield strength and support the process of emotions. We know this from Christianity, but all of the religions have, those objects that deepen our sense of spirituality and connectedness. Aromas, such as, different herbs or tobacco, also affect us. And of course, there is intimacy through the community that is formed. And there is a wave of oxytocin presented as well from the positive benefits of being with people that you like being with and engaging in an activity with them. So I'm going to stop there for a second. Does anyone have any, there's a lot of information there, sorry. Does anyone have any comments, questions? I'm looking at the chat to see if anyone wrote anything. No.
This isn't drumming, but I was just thinking about, the Beatles song, Hey Jude, and that long extended ending when they're just repeating na 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 na, and we,
Yeah.
it doesn't lose its potency as when you hear and sing along with the song. And I never realized, sometimes I would think, why am I just repeating these words, but it's not boring, and now I understand why.
Yeah, that is a great example, the end of that Hey Jude, where everybody knows it. There is like a geometric pattern to it, and we could just sing it forever, it seems like, right? There's something about it that makes us feel really good. And there is kind of an oxytocin release in that moment. Roz was asking what exactly is oxytocin. I'm going to give you the Cleveland Clinic because I don't want to be exact here. Oxytocin is a natural hormone that stimulates contractions in childbirth. How about that? And lactation after childbirth. It affects aspects of human behavior and the male and female reproduction systems. Let me see if I can get more specific here. People say it is the happy drug. And let's see here. Present in animals since early evolution, and in humans it plays a role in behaviors that include social bonding, love, reproduction, childbirth, and post-childbirth. Oxytocin is released into the bloodstream as a hormone in response to sex and childbirth. So again, sex, drugs, and rock and roll all give you the same release into your body. And Jan is specifically talking about gait training, rehabilitation for people with Parkinson's. And if you were in attendance of the last class, we got to watch that wonderful video of the gentleman walking of his gait improving drastically with the music playing. Yeah. Any other comments or questions about the drum circles? Has anyone gotten to be in a drum circle and participate in a drum circle before? Oh, many of you. That's wonderful. That's great. For those of you who have done it, is there anything you want to share about your personal experience in doing it? I'd love to hear a firsthand account.
I participated in one. It was just a small group, but we all had a drum or a cymbal or something, and it was very extemporaneous. Someone would start a beat, and then someone else would take it over, and as time went on, we sort of synced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fascinating.
I've participated in a few, and I just love it. I think I have completely lost myself in it, in the rhythm, and everybody else in the same rhythm. And I've taken my my grandson when he was 6 and 7, and he was able to participate too. And it was all ages so it was I loved it. It's just complete relaxation in that there's another focus that's completely different from anything else.
Ginny, I love that you're bringing up that it is an intergenerational experience, and certainly in most cultures that do this as a part of their traditional spiritual practice, it is always intergenerational. And there is just something innate about it that allows people of all ages to participate. That's great. I know, Amy, you had your self
Well,
unmuted.
it's kind of repetitive. I was going to say I benefited from being in a drum circle extemporaneously, picking up a child from a summer music camp in New England. And when the old folks arrived to pick up the kids, they wanted to include us and have us have a good time. So they just gave us all one drum and said, find a seat and play with us. And although we were hungry, maybe needed to go to the bathroom, wanted to get on the road, we started playing and never wanted to stop. It was so much fun. And it was 16-year-olds and parents. So it was really intergenerational and transcendent, really. It was terrific.
You're making me think about, and someone else says, Holly said that she loves how the collective consciousness decides when to stop.
Yeah.
That connectedness that you're all talking about here is, it's just making me think about Congress. Can you imagine if Congress did a drum circle? Like, could you imagine if they were required to do a drum circle like once a week? Like, what would happen, right? It can't hurt. It's a requirement. Oh my gosh. Lori was asking, local senior centers offer something called cardio drumming. I don't know what that specifically is. Does anyone know what cardio? Jan, do you know what cardio drumming is?
I do. Sometimes it's done with like a laundry basket thing and a great big ball, like the exercise ball that you can use.
Oh yeah.
And then you're hitting it with sticks on the side, you're hitting it up above, you're hitting it down below. So you're hitting all the different spatial planes. And it really is a good workout.
I would assume that, yeah, there would be very similar effects. You're doing it in a group, so.
Right, and you're using the arm muscles a lot, so that's innervating a lot of stimulus and a lot of neurons firing at once. So it's a great thing because everybody is following a leader, and even if you aren't following right away, you'll get the rhythm pretty soon.
And when you're using, like you had said, like a ball, right, and you're drumming the ball, you're getting a lot of tactile response.
Right,
right. So
right, a lot,
those vibrations you can feel right through the ball. I mean, that that would be very powerful, I think. I think that would be a wonderful way to explore
Yeah,
this.
it's a great sensory activity because there's usually some preferred music that the group has decided on, or something that's really fitting the rhythm of the movements that the leader is doing with them. And they trade off too. You could do like a follow the leader kind of thing too. And it's very humorous sometimes. Very, very funny.
I'm sure it is. Thanks, Jen. Okay, so we're gonna do a little hands-on activity now. We can't listen to each other, but we can see each other, most of us. So what I would love to do is for you to get something that you can bang on, okay? If you happen to own a drum, that's great. But if you just want to, grab a notebook or something, something where you won't hurt your hands, but using your hands would be helpful instead of like a stick, because we want you to experience the vibrations. And we're going to do a little drum circle. I'm going to play some music and we're going to drum along to that music. We can't hear each other, but at least we can see each other. So that might be nice. And let me see. I just want to make sure I can share without it being a problem here. Let's see. We just want to share sound, computer audio, share sound. Okay. And I'm going to play a song for you. This is a song called Everybody Drum by Susan Esserswine. Okay. All right. Oh, hold on. Pausing. Pause the music. How was that? Not the same as being in the same room, but fun, right? I don't know. I feel happier. I did notice that my dog really loved it. Oh, good. Terrific. That's great. Yeah, my dog was in another room and he came out and just sat and watched me play the drum the whole time. And it's hard to get his attention, so I'm very impressed.
Joey, can
Yeah.
you see my cat sitting in back? of me?
Oh, yeah. That's great.
I like that nobody said, hey, that's out of tune. I think that's going to be my ideal instrument.
I enjoyed watching you all get down. I think I enjoyed watching you more than playing myself even, but the vibrations from this drum are really awesome. I could feel them in my whole body, so that feels nice. All right. I'm gonna go back to the slideshow.
I think drum circles for team building are really exciting because you can have like half the group stop at one point and
Yeah.
then have the other group keep going, or you can like assign certain tempos or certain dynamic levels or articulation kinds of things if you want to do that rather than just having it like be free form.
Yeah, totally. And people playing on specific beats, and there are many fun games and activities you can do. And then of course there's dancing as well, being able to put your instrument down and let other people play while you physicalize is another addition. And like we said earlier, like vocalizing on top of that. One of our, Jan, I think you're friends with Iris, who does Daiko drumming.
Yeah.
And there's so many like vocalizations that go with Daiko drumming that are very powerful, and you feel it like from your gut, it's a whole body experience making that sound.
Humming
is
is actually
that?
a really good way to stimulate the vagus nerve and to calm yourself.
Yeah, thank you. We'll get to that at the end.
What is
Yeah.
Daiko drumming?
Daiko drumming is, she is from Hawaii, but I believe it's Japanese, right? In Daiko drumming. They're very large drums.
Right.
I would say like maybe 3 feet in diameter.
They're very deep.
And very deep. And you stand at them, and they're usually kind of put on an angle. And you hit them with these giant mallets. And again, it's like a whole body experience. I'm sure if you looked it up on YouTube, there would be a lot of examples of it.
Didn't they do that at the Beijing Olympics? At the
Oh,
opening
yes.
ceremonies?
They did. You're right. In the opening ceremonies, they did. Yeah.
Very ceremonial for them.
Yeah. But again, also very aerobic and used as a type of exercise, and in addition to music making in Asian culture. Yeah. Okay.
Do I have?
All right. Let's see and make sure I can mute everybody here. How do I do that? Mute all. Okay. There we go. This is from Psychology Today. Sound has an ancient kinship with meditation and healing. Sound healing has ancient roots in cultures all over the world. Australian Aboriginal tribes using the didgeridoo for over 40,000 years. Ancient Tibetan and Himalayan singing bowl spiritual traditions. Sound, oh, I can't move this. There. Sound meditation is a form of focused awareness type of meditation. One kind that has become more popular is sound baths, which use Tibetan singing bowls, quartz singing bowls, and bells to guide the listener. These practices highlight themes of how the experience of sound manifests not only through hearing, but through tactile physical vibrations and frequencies. A review of 400 published scientific articles on music as medicine found strong evidence that music has mental and physical health benefits in improving your mood and reducing your stress. In fact, rhythm in particular over melody can provide physical pain relief. One study published in the Journal of Evidence-Based Integrative Medicine found that an hour-long sound meditation helped people reduce tension, anger, fatigue, anxiety, depression, and increased a sense of spiritual well-being. The sound meditation used was a range of Tibetan singing bowls, crystal singing bowls, gongs, tingshas or tiny cymbals, dorjes or bells, didgeridoos, and other small bells. But the main instrument was the singing bowls. People who had never done sound meditation before in their lives experienced significantly less tension and anxiety, as well as those who had done it before. One theory behind all of this is that sound works through the vibrational tactile effects of the whole body, like we talked about before. Sound can stimulate touch fibers that affect pain perceptions. One study of people with fibromyalgia found that 10 treatments twice per week for 5 weeks of low frequency sound stimulation improved their sleep, decreased their pain, and allowed nearly 3/4 of them to reduce their medication. Sound-based vibrational treatment has been shown to help people with pain from arthritis, menstrual pain, post-operative pain, knee replacement surgery. I should tell my chaplain, she just had hers replaced yesterday. Well, I've been telling her to listen to music the whole time, so hopefully she is. Sound-based treatment has even been found to improve mobility, reduce muscle pain and stiffness, increase blood circulation, and lower blood pressure. Okay, so that's it for that part of the discussion, but I do have a singing bowl here with me. And what's kind of wonderful about them is you can use them in many ways. First of all, the sound is great. Oh, I'm realizing I don't have my correct sound on. Here, let me try that again. There is something very calming just about the sound, but the physical vibrations of it as well. Like I feel the vibrations through my hand. I'm getting the vibrations in my ear, of course. I even feel it in my bones a bit. But you can rest the bowl on you in different parts of your body. And those vibrations are, supposed to kind of help you with specific ailments in those specific parts. So if you're just feeling like you want some type of spiritual release, then resting it on your heart is a nice way to go, and just having it on your chest. And I can kind of feel that resonating throughout. Does anyone happen to own a singing bowl? Oh, a couple people. And I'm curious if any of you have ever been to a sound bath. A couple. Does anyone who's been, Gwen, is there anything you want to tell us about a sound bath? What was your experience like?
It was a friend who was dying of cancer, and we went and it was beautiful. It was just calming and wonderful.
Wow. So I'm curious, do you recall what kind of instrument they used for that?
It was a bowl, but I think they went around and around it.
Yeah, you can circle the bowl like this, and that kind of sends like I want to say like a deeper, lower, more constant and growing vibration.
I don't remember it being sad. I remember it being just kind of uplifting. It was.
That's great, Gwen. Beautiful. Nancy, were you going to say? No? Okay. Jan, I know you said you've been to them.
Right, and I've actually been part of the same kind of thing that Nancy, that the last person was just talking
Gwen,
about. Gwen, sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
The best thing to do is to wait for the overtone series to develop. And as soon as you get to like sort of the top part of the series, I think it's 520 hertz or something like that, then you start the next beat and the next circle. And typically they move around in a counterclockwise position, doing sort of a round thing so that you get like a sound bath that goes around the whole aura of the person.
And are those bowls all different sizes to produce different hertz?
They can be different sizes. Typically it's a higher pitch one for excitatory kinds of things, and lower pitch for things that are going to be more of a sedative quality.
That makes sense. And gong baths, Holly said, were something she experienced. Anybody else want to? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. Go ahead.
We use wind chimes in music therapy as well. You know, they've got like the long string of sounds from low to high. And sometimes those are really great for visual stimulation as well. There we go. Yeah, yeah. So that in order to, if you're working with somebody who's got an attention issue, or even somebody who's got hearing impairments, those seem to be something that's very stimulating, and because of the visual connection, starts kind of the engagement with it.
Oh, that's great, Jan. That's wonderful. I was unaware of how wind chimes were used in music therapy. That's great.
And again, the circling around the body, I think, is very important.
That makes a lot of sense. Anybody else? Roz is specifically talking about Jewish services using wordless melodies, or kind of like a chant in a way. And I don't know what that word is. Nijunum? Oh, is that
They're called nigunim.
Nigunim? And what is that? What does that mean?
It can
Roz?
be just die to a tune, and people
Yes.
do get a spiritual experience, kind of when they really get into it.
I have Dienum. Is that one too? I feel like I've heard that a
Well,
lot.
that yeah, but it can be die, lie. You know, like la.
Yeah.
But it's used at the end of prayers, or as a whole prayer can be a wordless melody, or nigun.
Nigun, yes. And that actually reminds me of course, it happens in Fiddler on the Roof. Tevye does it several times throughout the show. Yeah. Deborah, Thailand massage therapists sometimes use chimes during that. Oh, that's great. During massage therapy. How lovely. You know what? Now that you're saying that, I have had Thai massage where I thought that was just him doing his thing, but I didn't know it was a common practice to use that during massage. That's great. These are great examples. Thank you for talking through your personal experiences, because it's really nice for the rest of us to be able to learn through your experiences and know what we should try. All right, so finally we're going to move to the human voice, and what we can do without an external instrument. So I have a little video here. Hopefully this plays. Looks like it's not going to load. About vocal toning, just in case you're sick of hearing me talk. I thought we'd have her talk and get a little expert in the room on vocal toning.
Today, I'm talking to you about the voice and how you can use it for healing. Our voice is a fantastic, free and powerful tool that we can use for our healing and for that of our clients. Contrary to what you might think, you don't need to be able to sing to use this tool. Hi, Becky. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. Lovely to see you.
Me too. So we teach vocal toning as part of our courses and how to use the voice as a standalone course. So can you tell me a bit more about vocal toning and why we do it? And a little demonstration would be amazing.
Absolutely. So, yes, vocal toning is basically where we create vocal sounds as an instrument of healing. So by creating these sounds, they resonate with our body and our energy body to release, to create relief, and we can direct these sounds to particular areas of the body. So for example, you could direct the sounds to your heart center, and it can be really lovely to just kind of let any tension go from there and really open up the energy in that space.
Wow. So keeping in mind the heart center, is there a technique that you use to open up the heart center using the voice?
Absolutely. So one of my all-time favorite vocal toning sounds is humming. Humming, so underrated, I feel, and I recommend this to many of my clients after sessions because it's great for many things, but yes, it's great for connecting with the heart energy and opening up the heart center. It's great for releasing and letting anything go, but it's also great for balance as well. So what I'd usually suggest with humming is to get settled in the body, taking some nice gentle deep breaths, and then spending, you could do 7 hums, you could do it for 5 minutes if you wish, however long you wish. So I will demonstrate how this works. So we'll take a nice gentle deep breath in, and then just release and settle in our space. And then taking a breath to hum.
That's lovely. You can really feel it, can't you? Just
Oh, absolutely. And the great thing with it as well, if you create the sound, allow it to expand each time that you hum. So you can start obviously at the throat where the sound is originally coming from, but then it can expand into the nasal cavity, around the head, the heart center, and expand throughout the whole body. And like you say, it's really powerful. You can really feel it resonating everywhere.
oh wow. Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Becky. And like you said, you can do that on yourself. You can do that with a client, or you can teach a client to do it. Which is
Absolutely.
fantastic.
It's a really great and easy, effective tool that everyone can use that you don't need to pay for. We all have.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to chatting to you more about this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.
So the idea of vocal toning is very similar to what you would experience in a chant, but it's just not words. It's just like Roz is saying in a way, it's like a vowel and maybe a consonant, like a humming consonant. So here's a little bit about chanting, and then we will get a chance to do it. Chanting combines music therapy with meditation and mindfulness. Chanting is one example of how music can enhance well-being and quality of life, and an interesting one because it combines many elements of other music-based activities, but also includes meditation and mindfulness elements, which may add fuel to the power of your music. Scientific studies have found that chanting decreases stress, anxiety, and depression. It increases your positive mood and feelings of relaxation and focused attention, regardless of the tradition or the belief system involved in the practice. Chanting may have a physiological and a psychological effect, no matter what you are chanting. Repetitive vocal chanting can have a direct effect on your parasympathetic nervous system as it slows your breathing and activates your vagus nerve, which regulates your heartbeat and your digestion system and all this. So chanting the universal mantra of Om for 10 minutes has proven to improve attention and contributed toward a positive mood and increased feeling of social cohesion. I'm assuming that is within a group setting. Mantram repetition therapy, which includes silently repeating a spiritually related word or phrase selected by each individual from a recommended list, was effective in helping veterans with PTSD. So finding a word that is obviously very meaningful that could also be chanted. Mindfulness, meditation, and yoga aided healthcare workers with small to moderate improvements in emotional exhaustion, sense of personal accomplishment, and their life satisfaction. Chanting increased cerebral blood flow in areas of the brain known to deteriorate in Alzheimer's patients. Egyptians believed chanting encouraged flooding of the Nile and would yield successful crops, while indigenous Australians used chants to aid them in finding water and navigating the land. I'm going to go to this next section here, which is, for those of you who aren't familiar, the chakras are a large part of the yoga practice, and they involve energy fields in your body, energy centers in your body, specifically 7 of them, which I'll show you a picture of. And it is believed that they work in tandem to create a harmonious flow of energy in your body. Each one has its own color and element and symbol and gemstone and musical note, musical pitch that, you know, the vibrations are said to really regulate that area of energy in your body. And Hindu and Buddhist traditions, dating back as far as 1000 BC, have used these practices. So here is kind of like the human body and the different energy fields or chakra. And it's mostly explored from the root up. So you've got a root, a sacral, a solar plexus, a heart, throat, third eye, and crown chakra, which all deal with specific parts of your body and specific parts of your psychological makeup as well, and then a spiritual connection. So you can see here on the left that each one of them also has like a word that goes along with them, but you can think of them really as just open spaces of resonance. You have a vowel, and then you've got some consonants surrounding that vowel. And when you chant these vowels, you're supposed to create the space of the vowel in your mouth first and inhale into that space. So if it's an O, you kind of make an O shape, just like we do in singing. Breathe into the O and then keep that O shape as you say Om. Same thing with Ah. So I think we're going to give this a try. Once again, this is not you having to prescribe to any religious practice. This is just you playing with sounds and pitches and vibrations and seeing how it feels to you. And if you want, you can look at these words that are associated with this chakra. And you are welcome to, since we can't hear you anyway, you're welcome to chant one of these words after you've tried the LAM, LAM. And I'm going to use what I have here is a steel tongue drum, and it has all the pitches of the C major scale. And so I'm going to start with C. I'll play the pitch, listen to the pitch, let it come into your body, take a breath, and then if you can say the word. if you want, you can use Om here. Can we take some breaths together? Is there any way to sharpen the visual of the chakra graphic? Oh, is it blurry? Let me go back to that. It was blurry, huh? Oh. That's funny. It's not blurry on my screen. Let me see. Hold on. I'll pull it up maybe a different way for you. Give me 1 second so you can see the chakra graphic. Let's see if I can make this big for you. Hold on, sharing my screen. I don't know if I can specifically get that graphic again, but if you look up chakra, let's see. There's many charts, as you can see. I'm trying to see if I can find the one with the elements on it. Let's see here. Nope. Oh, I don't know why that was blurry for you, but not for me. I love this image here. I think that's beautiful. But if you look up chakra, you'll get a lot of options here. Oh, this one's kind of cool. I don't know if I can make that bigger. Oh, that's very interesting. It talks about feminine and masculine energies as well, and then relates it to specific organs in your body. Huh, that's very interesting. Well, you can certainly do a deep dive of of chakra mapping, and you'll find lots of things. Trying to think. Oh, here's this one's a little bit better, maybe. I don't know how chakras and astrology relate, but they're both on this website. That would be interesting to find out. I know that there's some crazy stuff happening in the stars over the past week, and that might explain what's been happening in our politics. Yeah, this is not. Sorry, it's not loading. But again, if you just Google chakra, you'll get lots of options. I can certainly send the PowerPoint, absolutely. And someone asked for last month's as well. So I will make those work in a way that you can see them the best. Yeah. All of the slides have been blurry to you, Lori? Oh my goodness. Have the slides been blurry for everybody? No. Okay. Sorry, Lori. I don't know why. Okay. Any comments or questions or responses to the chanting?
I felt that I had a lot more visceral reaction to it and a little bit more like involvement, or I felt like I was integrating it a little bit more into my central nervous system when I went from the vowel to the consonant. So when I
I
closed
yeah, I
on the
feel that
M,
way too.
yeah, when I closed on the M, which is different than most singing, you want to stay on the vowel in most cases, you know, but instead going to the M kind of made a difference.
I feel the same way. You really, well, it makes sense, right, from a acoustic perspective. Like when you shut your lips, then the vibrations are staying in your body, right? So when you go to those M's or those humming consonants where the lips are closed, then the vibrations are staying and bouncing around inside you better, right?
Mm.
I
Any
just
other
thought
comments or questions about? Yeah.
just a comment. As we were getting near the end, I kept thinking, I think I'm going to sleep really well tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, you know what? Is my Wi-Fi okay? I feel like I'm glitchy. Can you see me okay?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're kind of glitchy in a good way.
One of the things. Okay, good.
It's all that humming.
One of the things. Yeah, all that must be the theta state. One thing that we're going to address next week is the different kinds of sounds that people fall asleep to these days. And so if you, I don't, for those of you who have like a music listening service, like I use Spotify, there's like wonderful, like different things you can sleep to, genres and playlists. And so, one of those things are different color noises. You know, they say white noise has been around for years, but now they have all these different color noises, and they're really just based off of different frequencies of sound and vibrations. So we'll look at that next week. And actually, while I'm talking about next week, does anyone have any requests? Not next week, next month. Does anyone have any requests for next month's class? Yeah, Gwen.
Well, I have a question. When I walk in the park over here next to my house, there's an Asian gentleman that chants, and it's beautiful. And I love listening to him. But is it more beneficial to do the chanting yourself than to just listen to someone else doing the chanting?
Absolutely. With music making, it's always more beneficial to be the one making the music. And the more of you that's involved in the music making process, the better. So, meaning the more body parts that are engaged, the better. Because it's more stimulation and activity for your body and your brain, and more vibrations in your body.
Wow.
So chanting and then like moving while you're chanting are great. Oh, I see why I'm glitchy. That web page I tried to pull up for you is making my whole system go crazy. That's funny. All right, I'm gonna close those windows. Does that make sense? Yeah, Jan.
What did you mean by request? What was it related to?
Requests?
Yeah, for next week.
For next month. So
next month, yes.
I have some basic topics, but I have room if anyone has a request of anything they want me to cover that I haven't covered yet, or any specific questions you would like me to address next time. I'm happy to do that because it's our third and final session.
Definitely decreasing anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing.
Okay. Ways to decrease anxiety specifically. Okay.
I remember from, I think it was your first Encore University session, that first summer. And I believe it was, I think it had to do with the chakras, but you would sort of end the session with, the color and, we were singing. It was just a lovely way to end. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. Yeah, that's a little bit of what we just did, but I used stones as well, crystals and stones.
Yeah.
And then we had words that we chanted as well.
Yeah.
So I can bring that back. Yeah, sure. And we can certainly do more singing next time. This class went a lot quicker than I anticipated. I had a song and then I cut it because I didn't think we'd get to it, and now we have some time, so I'm sorry that we're not singing right now, but we will sing next time. I could do it. Well, let's see. I wonder if I could pull it up real quick for you.
We could name that tune.
That's right. I did have what was a really big hit last time, which was My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far-off song that hails a new creation. No storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I am clinging, since love is Lord of heaven and earth. Everybody, how can I keep from singing? Yeah.
I love that.
We'll definitely do a bit of a sing-along next time. All right. Any final requests?
Just please put that in the what you send us, because I'd love that.
Okay, sure. Absolutely. Great. All right, so I'll be presenting some new material, and then we'll definitely be doing some singing and some chanting next time as well. Cool. All right, thanks everybody. If you want to email me, I'll put my email in the chat real quick again. It's my personal email, and you are welcome to email me with comments, questions, critiques, any of that. Waiting room. Oh, it's not going to you. Hold on. Send to everyone in the meeting. Okay, there you go. Joseph Patrick Clark. It's just my full name at gmail.com. Yeah, thank you all for making this a wonderful evening and a communal experience. And Jan, thank you for bringing your musical therapist insight into the room. I really appreciated having you. You gave us some great things to think about. And then thank you for sharing your personal experiences so we can learn and experience things through you, and hopefully try some new things. I would love to hear if you try something new between this class and our next class. If you get to a sound bath, please report back, okay?
Does a shower count?
Sure.
That's a relief.
Okay, good. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome.